Hello and a very warm welcome to Game On. I'm Neha Bhardwaj Alton. We've already seen some brilliant last over thrillers in IPL 2024. What will today's game have in store for us? It's last year's finalists, Gujarat Giants versus the Chennai Super Kings. We will discuss that. But last night's game between Royal Challengers Bangalore and PBKS was one of those games where Virat Kohli came and served a timely reminder to the selectors with an outstanding innings at the Chinnaswamy. In front of their home fans, Royal Challengers Bengaluru bounced back from defeat to CSK in their opening match of the IPL by beating Punjab Kings by 4 wickets with 4 balls remaining. Virat Kohli's start for RCB with a fine innings of 77 of 49 balls before a late surge from Mahipal Lomror and Dinesh Karthik clinched victory. The win gave RCB their first points of the tournament and put them at 6th place on the leaderboard. First, opting to win the toss and field, RCB restricted Punjab Kings to 176 for 7 in their 20 overs with Mohammad Siraj, the pick of the bowlers, with 2 for 26 in his 4 overs. Yash Dayal was the most economical of RCB's bowlers, conceding just 23 runs from his quota while taking the key wicket of all-rounder Sam Curran. While Glenn Maxwell dismissed Punjab skipper Shikhar Dhawan for 45 and Prabhsimran Singh for a cameo of 25. Maxwell's 2 wickets went a long way in RCB pulling back Punjab from a big total. Even though just moments before Faf du Plessis tossed him the ball, he had told the on-air commentators that he did not fancy bowling, saying, "I'd rather not bowl, I'm quite enjoying just being a batter." That's what we've paid Cam Green to be the all-rounder. A late cameo of 21 of just 8 balls from Shashank Singh helped Punjab finish on 176 for 6, which set RCB 177 to win their second match of the IPL. Kohli was given a massive slice of luck off his second ball he faced, when a thick edge was dropped by Johnny Best to its slip off the left-arm swing of Sam Curran. Kohli took 4 boundaries off the over to speed away to 16 and looked in ominous form, even as RCB lost 2 wickets in 5 overs. Du Plessis and Green each made 3, both dismissed by Kagiso Rabada. This forced Kohli to play watchfully, but he was still quick enough to reach his 51st IPL half-century in just 31 deliveries. The introduction of left-arm spinner Harpreet Brar gave Punjab an opening, which raised questions of why Dhawan did not introduce his trump card earlier. Wheeling through his 4 overs in a hurry, Harpreet conceded a miserly 13 runs while bowling Rajat Patidar for 18 and Maxwell for 3. Suddenly 103 for 4 in the 13th over. RCB were indebted to Kohli for anchoring the innings with a superb 77 that contained 11 fours and 2 sixes. RCB looked on course for an easy win while Kohli was batting, but were up against it when the batter steered a catch to Harpreet at deep point off the bowling of Harshal Patel to leave the score at 130 for 5. From there, RCB were taken across the finish line thanks to some brutal hitting from Karthik and Lomror, who smashed 49 runs off the last 18 balls of the innings. The 38-year-old Karthik in his final IPL season hit 28 of 10 balls, including 2 sixes, while RCB's impact player Lomror clubbed 17 of 8 deliveries with 1 six. After 2 matches each, RCB and Punjab have won in 1 and lost 1. Now, there has been plenty of speculation around Virat Kohli's batting heading into IPL 2024, mainly because of the T20 World Cup looming large on the horizon. Kohli did not play cricket from mid-January until the start of the IPL on March 22nd, on account of him skipping the 5-test series with England for personal reasons. After Team India returned from South Africa in early January, Kohli was selected for his first T20I appearance since November 2022. And in 2 matches against Afghanistan, he scored 29 and a duck. Thus, as RCB started their season against CSK in Chennai last Friday, plenty of the narrative was around how Kohli could slot back to cricket given the gap and whether or not he deserves to play the T20 World Cup in North America and the West Indies this June. In the IPL opener in Chennai, Kohli scored 21 of 20 balls, hitting 1 6 in his stay at the crease, which spanned 11.2 overs. That sluggish innings against CSK might have put doubts in the minds of plenty, but to see Kohli back at his best against Punjab last night was a refreshing sight. Making the most of that drop by Bairstow when he was yet to open his account, Kohli took 16 off the opening over bowled by Sam Curran, and by the end of the power play, despite RCB losing 2 wickets, the 35-year-old was 35 of 21 balls with the help of 8 fours. Kohli hit his first 6 in the 9th over, got to his 51 in 31 balls during the 10th over, and then he hit another 6 just moments after Harpreet Brar had dismissed Rajat Patidar. The exit of Maxwell clearly rattled Kohli, for he was seen shaking his head after the Australian was bowled for 3, but he did not let it impact his batting. He ran 1s and 2s, and when Harshal Patel returned to bowl the 16th over, Kohli hit him for 2 fours, attempting a 3rd over point. Kohli found the fielder running in from the boundary to be dismissed for 77, an effort which had left RCB's remaining batters to get 47 of 24 deliveries. That innings made Kohli the man of the match and gave him the orange cap for most runs so far in the tournament. Now, like I've been saying, a lot has been spoken about Virat Kohli's T20 form, whether he should be picked up in the T20 World Cup. That's immediately after the IPL. When Harsha Bhogle asked him about his T20 form, he had a cheeky reply. He said this, he said, "I know my name is nowadays quite attached to just promoting the game in many parts of the world when it comes to T20 cricket, but I've still got it, I guess." This is a cheeky reply to someone like a Ravi Shastri, who said that, he needs to go to the US because that's where there are a lot of Indian expat population and they would want to see Virat Kohli play. Kevin Peterson had made a similar comment. That's the answer from Virat Kohli. Now, like I said, Virat Kohli missed 5 match test series against England after he decided to take a break with his family. He said it was nice to feel normal away from the spotlight. He said, and I quote, "We were not in the country. We were at a place where people were not recognizing us. Just time together as a family, just to feel normal for 2 months. For me, for us as a family, it was a surreal experience. I mean, I could not have been more grateful to God for the opportunity that I got to spend time with my family." And yeah, just the place that we were in, I was telling the guys that when we came back, the voices back home felt that much louder. I could not look up because I was just not used to being called by my name. This is what he added. He says, "I could not look up because I was just not used to being called my name for 2 months. And then immediately you hear these loud noises and then you're back in it all again." But it was beautiful. It was an amazing experience to just be another person on the road and not be recognized and just carry on about life that normally people would do on a daily basis. Now, before the start of IPL 2024, wicketkeeper batter Dinesh Karthik had announced this will be his last season with RCB as a player. After his explosive batting against Punjab Kings, his fans will want him to rethink his stance on retirement. Despite Virat Kohli's heroics, RCB still required 23 of the final 2 overs. Karthik, who had struggled in the last IPL, clobbered Harshal Patel for a 4 and a 6 in the 19th over. With the game hanging by a thread, RCB needed 10 runs in the final over, and Shikhar Dhawan decided to go with Arshdeep. The experienced PBKS pacer sent a length delivery in his first ball, which Karthik scooped over short fine for a 6. On seeing Karthik smack it for a 6, his RCB teammates in the dugout, including Kohli, were on their feet in celebration. Then Arshdeep bowled a wide, followed by a full delivery, which Karthik slammed for a 4 past the bowler to wrap up the proceedings in style. It was a superb performance from the finisher, who had been sitting in the commentator's box throughout the 5-match test series against England right before the IPL began. So half of this year, this season, the start of this season, he spent in the commentator's box. Karthik spoke about his performance, saying he is dusting off the rustiness and that he wasn't in complete control, but he is getting there. He also said that Mahipal Lomror took the pressure off him. Lomror scored an 8-ball 17 to help RCB cross the line along with Karthik. The 38-year-old batter now will be hoping for a strong season in the IPL, given this is his final year in the tournament, as he's already been actively involved in broadcasting in the last 2 years. RCB next face KKR on Friday at home at the Chennai Stadium. Royal Challengers Bangalore bowler Yash Dayal spoke about the trauma he went through because of the online abuse he received after Rinku Singh hit him for 5 sixes in last year's IPL. Dayal has shared his experience while speaking to his teammate Mohammad Siraj after the game against Punjab Kings. He said he was told not to see social media after the KKR game, but he did and it scarred him. He said, and I quote, मैच के बाद में जब गया वापस तो मुझे काफ़ी प्रॉब्लम हुई. मेरे को मना किया गया कि मीडिया मत देखना, बट मैंने देख लिया. हर्ट हुआ कि लोग क्या सोचते हैं, हम किस बैकग्राउंड से आते हैं और खेलते हैं. 2 दिन में ही मेरी तबीयत ख़राब हो गई. He says, I felt hurt about what people think of me. Hurts more when they don't realize what background I come from and play cricket, and that he fell ill after the match. Siraj also asked Dayal what he did to overcome the setback. The bowler said, in hindsight, I know I was not the first person who has faced this situation, so I worked on the process rather than the outside noise. The left-arm seamer was impressive against Punjab Kings on his home debut at the Chennai Stadium as he returned with the bowling figures of 1 for 23 from his 4 overs. It was during his last season with Gujarat Titans that he was slammed for 5 consecutive sixes by Rinku Singh. KKR needed 29 in the last over and Dayal looked helpless as Rinku bludgeoned him all over the park. Okay, now it's time for the match that is coming up tonight. Number 2 meets number 3 tonight in Chennai in the clash of last year's finalists. That's right, defending champions Chennai Super Kings host 2023 runners-up Gujarat Titans today, with both teams on 2 points. Unlike last year's final, CSK are now led by Ruturaj Gaikwad and GT by Shubman Gill, and both new captains have tasted success in contrasting manner. While Gaikwad captained CSK in the IPL opener under the massive shadow of MS Dhoni behind the stumps, 24-year-old Gill led Gujarat to a narrow victory over Mumbai Indians without a senior figure like Karthik Pandya around. Neither opener made much of an impact with the bat in their respective captaincy debuts, but there was a common theme in how Gaikwad and Gill marshalled their troops on the field. Gaikwad was astute with his bowling changes and field settings, no doubt aided by Dhoni, while Gill led Gujarat to a 6-run win in which Mumbai Indians, needing 48 runs from 36 balls, lost 6 wickets in a hurry on a spin-friendly Chepauk surface. The slow men on both sides promised to have a big role to play, which brings into focus the likes of Ravindra Jadeja, Rachin Ravindra, Mahesh Tikshana, Rashid Khan and R. Sai Kishore. CSK used 5 bowlers in the game with RCB and neither spinners took a wicket. Tikshana went for 36 in his 4 overs and Jadeja was miserly with 21 from his quota. But matters could be different today. Gujarat used just Rashid and Sai Kishore in their home match with MI and might be tempted to add a 3rd spin option in Chennai tonight. They do have Rahul Tewatia as one option for their preferred starting 11. Otherwise, they could look at Noor Ahmed or Jayant Yadav as an impact player, depending on the situation. However, as we've seen in the IPL for years, teams do not willingly tinker with winning combinations so early in the tournament. MS Dhoni's presence in the dressing room and behind the stumps we know makes a huge difference for Chennai Super Kings for any team that he's part of. We've seen it in their first match against Royal Challengers Bangalore on last Friday as well, how Dhoni supported new captain Ruturaj Gaikwad. IPL debutant Rachin Ravindra has now shared how Dhoni's influence is inspiring everyone in the CSK dressing room. He had this to say about Mahendra Singh Dhoni. He says, I think whenever Mahi Bhai is involved in some sort of play, you know, the crowd goes crazy. And I was able to experience it for the first time. The fanfare, the craze. It's pretty special. The influence he has is inspiring. The New Zealand all-rounder also added that how sharing the dressing room with someone like MS is insane. He says to be able to share the dressing room with someone like MS is insane. I think we all know what he's achieved. Not just for Chennai, but also for India too. And the type of aura he carries and everything. But I think the best thing about him is he's so calm and down to earth. Like you wouldn't know he achieved all he has. Dhoni might have stepped down as the CSK captain, allowing Ruturaj to lead the five-time IPL champions, but Ravindra believes Dhoni remains a great role model and a leader in the dressing room. He says it just shows the type of person that he is, and he's a great role model for that, because no matter what you achieve on the cricket field, you spend most of your time off it. So he's worked it out pretty well, and he's a great leader here in the dressing room. With that, we're going to slip into a short break. On the other side, we've got the full schedule of the IPL this season. We also tell you about the 5 matches that India play against Australia and the Border Gavaskar Trophy at the end of the year.
Start with the end in mind. You need to know where you want to reach. Every morning that we wake up, we are exercising our choice. The destiny is decided. The results are known that I'm going to win. Life of a goalkeeper is something which has always intrigued me.
When you come into a stadium, this is the highest level of pressure.
When I set out to do something, I decide in my mind that failure is not an option.
What you feel very strongly about, those are the stories to tell.
I have a mind which is absolutely restless.
Mind and body are entangled sensations.
That brings me back to golf. It's an amazing game.
This is not a perfect game. You only learn from them.
If you have a formula to a success, then you can replicate it.
I feel this is my first step. I'm starting now.
Winner is first born in the mind. I think, therefore I am. We are all about our mind.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
Welcome back. The full schedule for IPL 2024 is out, and Chennai is set to host its first IPL final in 12 years, with Chepauk named as the venue for the IPL 2024 title match to be played on May 26. The Chidambaram Stadium, the home venue of defending champions, Chennai Super Kings, has hosted 2 previous IPL finals in 2011 and in 2012. Chennai will also host the second qualifier on May 24th, with the first qualifier on May 21st and the eliminator on May 22. So those 2 will be played in Ahmedabad. The second part of the IPL schedule, comprising of 52 matches, including the playoffs, will begin on 8th of April, with CSK hosting Kolkata Knight Riders in Chennai. All playoff matches will be evening games as usual. As in 2023, the 10 teams have been divided across 2 groups of 5 each. Each team plays the other 4 teams in their group twice and the 4 teams in the other group once, while playing the remaining team from the other group picked via a draw twice. CSK are grouped with 2022 IPL champions Gujarat Titans, Royal Challengers Bengaluru, Sunrisers Hyderabad and Punjab Kings. The second group comprises of 5-time IPL champions Mumbai Indians, along with KKR, Royals, Delhi and LSG. In all, 2024 league phase will include 11 double-headed days, 2 of which took place on the opening weekend. A complete schedule could not be put out since at that time the IPL was waiting for the Election Commission of India to announce the dates for the country's general elections, which have since been made public. Now, they will take place in 7 phases from April 19th to 1st of June. Apart from main home grounds of the 10 teams, the tournament will also travel to Visakhapatnam, Dharamshala and Guwahati, which will host 2 games each as the respective second home grounds of Delhi Capitals, Punjab Kings and Rajasthan Royals, respectively. Guwahati will host the final league game of the season on May 19th between Royals and KKR. Okay, if you're already missing Test cricket, then don't worry. At the end of this year, India will be touring Australia for a 5-match Test series. The schedule for the historic 5-match Border Gavaskar Trophy tour to Australia in late 2024 was announced by Cricket Australia today. India and Australia will be playing a 5 Test match series for the first time since 91-92, with the first Test slated to be played at the Perth Stadium from 22nd to 26th of November. The second test, which is a day-night pink ball affair, will be held in the first week of December at the Adelaide Oval. The pink ball test will be India's fifth day-night test and the second against Australia since December 2020, where they registered their lowest test total, which was 36 all-out in an 8-wicket defeat. The third test will be held at the Gabba in Brisbane, followed by the customary Boxing Day test at the iconic Melbourne Cricket Ground from December 26th to the 30th of December 2024. The landmark series, set to form an integral part of the ongoing ICC World Test Championship cycle, will conclude with the fifth test in Sydney in January 2025. When asked about why the first test venue had been shifted from Gabba to the Perth Stadium, Cricket Australia's head of scheduling, Peter Roach, said Australian team hoped to maximise their advantage by starting the series in bouncy Perth, though both are the hardest and the bounciest pitches in Australia. The men's series coincides with the three-match ODI series between the women's team of their respective countries to be played in Brisbane and Perth between 5th and 11th of December. Okay, let's move on to football, and this is disturbing what you're going to see on your screens next. Brazilian winger Vinicius Jr broke down in tears and said he was struggling to stay motivated and enjoy playing football due to the recurring racist abuse he's subjected to in Spain. During an emotional press conference ahead of Brazil's friendly international against Spain on Tuesday, the Real Madrid winger said he's frustrated. He broke down. He broke down because fans keep getting away with hurling racist abuse towards him. This is what he has to say. Last season, there were 10 such episodes against the 23-year-old, reported by two prosecutors by La Liga. Brazil will play that friendly against Spain at the Bernabeu, with the match being held as a part of an anti-racism campaign in support of the Real Madrid forward. Last week, Vinicius' club side, Real Madrid, filed a complaint against the referee who handled their game at Osasuna for not including alleged racist insults aimed at Vinicius Jr. in his match report. Vinicius has urged European soccer's governing body, UEFA, to take action against alleged racist chants directed at him by soccer fans. Okay, moving on to the Olympics. Russian and Belarusian athletes who qualify for the Paris 2024 Summer Olympics will need to undergo a vetting process by the International Olympic Committee before being invited to compete. Here's why.
Russian and Belarusian athletes who qualify for the Paris 2024 Summer Olympics will need to undergo a vetting process by the International Olympic Committee before being invited to compete. Here's why. After Russia's invasion of Ukraine in February 2022, the IOC initially recommended athletes from Russia and ally Belarus be banned from international competitions. But they were then allowed to qualify for the Paris Olympics with some caveats. They will be competing as individual neutral athletes, or AINs, without their flags, anthems, and emblems. James McLeod is the Director of Olympic Solidarity.
AINs will not participate in the parade of delegations teams during the opening ceremony, since they are individual athletes, but an opportunity will be provided to them to experience the event.
They must also pass an IOC vetting process. Athletes must not have actively supported the war in Ukraine or be contracted to any military or security agency, and all anti-doping criteria must be met. Athletes will also have to sign the Conditions of Participation for Paris, which contains a commitment to respect the Olympic Charter, including the, quote, peace mission of the Olympic movement.
Our experts currently project that under the most likely scenario, 36 AINs with a Russian passport and 22 AINs with a Belarusian passport will qualify for the Olympic Games Paris 2024. The maximum number, which is unlikely to be reached, would be 55 and 28 respectively.
The IOC established the Individual Neutral Athlete Eligibility Review Panel to carry out the work of evaluating each athlete and their support personnel. The three-member panel consists only of IOC members. They are Nicole Hoverts, an IOC vice president who competed in synchronized swimming for Aruba in 1984, Pau Gasol, a two-time NBA champion who won medals with Spain, and Yu Samin, an IOC member since 2016 and a South Korean table tennis champion. The IOC's Chief Ethics and Compliance Officer, Takaret Gerard Zappelli, is secretary of the panel. Moscow has criticized the IOC's decisions, saying the Olympic body was infringing on athletes' rights and destroying Olympism. The Russian Olympic Committee was also suspended by the IOC in October for recognizing regional Olympic councils for Russian-occupied regions of Ukraine, further angering Moscow. Russia plans to host its own international multi-sports event, the Friendship Games, later in 2024.
How do you fulfill that promise? Because ultimately expectations have to be met. If you look at the political landscape, is it really changing for women? And what is the inability of the forces that dead bodies surface but not the living people?
Why is the state not looking at putting an embargo on that?
As a Telangana person, I will not accept.
How do ordinary folks deal with this?
Start with the end in mind. You need to know where you want to reach. Every morning that we wake up, we are exercising our choice. The destiny is decided. The results are known that I'm going to win. Life of a goalkeeper is something which has always intrigued me.
When you come into a stadium, this is the highest level of pressure.
When I set out to do something, I decide in my mind that failure is not an option.
What you feel very strongly about, those are the stories to tell.
I have a mind which is absolutely restless.
Mind and body are entangled sensations.
That brings me back to golf. It's an amazing game.
This is not a perfect game. You only learn from them.
If you have a formula to a success, then you can replicate it.
I feel this is my first step. I'm starting now.
The winner is first born in the mind. I think, therefore I am. We are all about our mind.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
There's a new video around what deepfake can do.
We have seen a trailer of this a few days back.
Rumors should not be only on the platform.
We'll have to wait and see how those play out.
Hindenburg's report